Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Gutes campaign. It is episode 3, wherein we are going to capture Eblana and found proper the Kingdom of the Gutes. Well, I say that, but in fact we actually have a mission to do so, and that forms the Kingdom of the Gutes. For now, I suppose we will be the petty Kingdom of the Gutes, I guess. I don't really know how that works. And to do so, we have to capture Eblana, which is apparently the only mark of civilization upon the entirety of the island of Ireland. There are, of course, a ton of animals. We have some boars overseeing these sacred stones. I assume they're sacred. Why else would these boars be guarding them, right? We have some horses. We actually have some foxes on a lake connected to a river, which is quite beautiful. If we were to create a postcard of the fledgling Kingdom of the Gutes, it would be this, especially now that the lake is shrouded in fog. This, of course, is all hinging on the fact that we actually conquer Eblana. It is, of course, a possibility that these few men beat back our attack, and Dratius and his remaining troops push us from the island and potentially wipe us from the face of the earth, which would, of course, be not a good thing for our descendants. It would be not in their best interest, in the sense that if we were to die, they would never be born. So, I mean, in that case, would they even have interests? It's one of those philosophical questions, is it not? Okay, well, we are going to attack Eblana, and there are so few people / men, troops, soldiers, what have you, in the town proper. I feel perfectly alright doing an old auto-resolve. Now, I am not a fan of auto-resolve in any way, shape, or form. It seems it's always incredibly boring. I much rather prefer to fight the battles, as that is where all my fun comes from. Here's another criticism of auto-resolve. All of my most valuable troops have received a shit ton of casualties. These guys all started off they were in tip-top fighting shape, and look at them now. That's very depressing. We lost some cavalry as well, I assume. Okay, so we can sack the place, we can subjugate them. That would be interesting. However, I feel like I want to settle down on the Isle instead of raiding. It seems to me that raiding as anyone but, like, if you're raiding as a Germanic faction, for me personally, it's no fun at all. So I would much rather settle down, and I'm pretty confident that we can actually loot and occupy for an additional 2,300 gold and an additional 10 province instability. I'm going to loot and occupy, and that's just fine. Okay, so we have done that quite well. Moritex, what a name. If we were to write like a period piece drama, a military history drama in the vein of, let's say, The Last Kingdom, which is on Netflix, that you should watch it because it is actually quite interesting and entertaining, and it's somewhat relevant to this time period as well, although a couple hundred years later. That show that we would write would tell the tale of Ragnarr as he conquers and forms the Kingdom of the Gutes. But, of course, the main villain would be a man by the name of Moritex. And those that hear his name shudder in their boots. Because it's such a villainous name, Moritex. Or that would be like a 40k, a Warhammer 40k, like a chapter captain or a hero of some kind for a traitor legion. Moritex Bile or something would be his name. He, of course, would be a convert to the cult of Nurgle. Moritex Bile. Okay, we're going to repair the farmstead. And as for this additional slot, we actually have quite a lot of population surplus, which we will not be able to use for a very long time. Let's take a look at the province. Caledonia et Ibernia. It is mostly Celtic pagan, which is diminishing by the turns. For what reason? Because Latin Christianity is growing because of Britannia. Germanic paganism, however, is at an all-time low, which is giving us a -7 modifier to religious difference. We're going to have issues with conquest and instability. I imagine we are actually going to have to put down a rebellion pretty quickly because we've got issues with the political situation, immigrants, devastation, buildings, taxes, and difficulty level. All of these things. Now, I think in order to appease these people, we would probably be... It's probably prudent that we build a chieftain's hall. That would increase public order. Alternatively, this is more of a long-term situation. Long-term... Good God! I cannot speak. Long-term solution is what I'm trying to say. Long-term solution. That would be the sort of thing that Moritex Bile would talk about. His second in command would say, Lord Moritex Bile proposes a more long-term solution, as they gesture towards the console that they would use to glass a planet. I'm creating this whole headcanon to this Trader Legion in Warhammer 40,000. Moritex Bile. Although I feel that that's very similar to a current character, but I can't say. Let's get back to the task at hand. We could build a sacred grove. That would increase public order slightly. That would also increase Germanic paganism. Although creating these barrows would also create sanitation, so that also serves the place of, well, it's not much sanitation, so it's not too good. I would much rather build a grove line rather than a burial and barrows line. So that's what we'll do, I think. We'll build a sacred ground. See, here's the thing. I would build this chieftain's house, but I think I want to build a chieftain's castle in my future capital that would possibly be Tuesis or, alternatively, Londinium, wherever that may be. Now, of course, in Vanilla Total War Attila, you cannot change your capital, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it through some clever text file editing. So, yeah, we'll just build a sacred ground for now in the hopes that we can eventually build a chieftain's castle in our capital proper, which would, of course, have to be a major city rather than a minor city. Here's the thing. We don't want the capital of our future kingdom and empire of the Gutes, I assume, to be in Ireland. That's terrible. That is just fucking terrible. So what we're going to do now is brace for the coming invasion, or rather counterattack, by the Ebdanians. We cannot actually recruit any new units or any mercenaries for some odd reason. Oh, that reason being we are actually at... we have 20 units in the army, that's just fine. Unfortunately, our axe units are at a very low strength. We just have to hope and dream that they recover quickly, but I'm pretty sure the Ebdanians are going to attack almost immediately. Now, we are able to assign a governor, and I remember correctly, our son Wulfgar, with the disfiguring scar, who is a Lutar, is actually a capable administrator. So that's what we'll do. We'll stick Wulfgar in there. And look at that. Even though Wulfgar is the butt-ugly son of the three, the ugliest of the trio, he has risen to prominence above Ivar and Vikingir, which is incredibly interesting. Now, I don't see any use in using any of these other guys at the moment. Potentially, Haraldir could be useful as a general in the future. However, if I remember correctly, Vikingir is quite a good general as well. Okay, so we are able to issue an edict, and I'm pretty sure that we want either Judgment of Woden or Might of Tiu. I'm not sure how you would pronounce that. Tiu? Tiu. I'm pretty sure we want Might of Tiu for the recruitment capacity as well as the Germanic paganism influence. So we'll do that. Okay, now let's end the turn, and for some reason our public order has dropped yet again. Is it because of our governor? Characters, -2. I would assume it's because he is ugly. He has low authority, and that is why he is disliked. Okay, well, that's just fine. Let's end the turn, finally, and repel the Abdanians. What remains of the Abdanians? The Abdanians, led by Duratius, have besieged us, but they have chosen to, instead of outright attacking us, they've chosen to just besiege us, which is just fine with me. As I can see, the integrity of his army is deteriorating by the minute, and it is currently autumn. So I'm just fine sitting in my city. I think we have a few turns until we are receiving attrition from this siege, and I'm not quite sure how long we have. But here's the thing: I'm just fine with them taking attrition in the winter and counterattacking in the spring. I'm fairly certain we can see out the siege until then, unless, of course, Duratius gets a bee in his bonnet and decides to attack us before then. It is now the winter of 396 AD. Duratius, his army is crumbling around him. They are mutinous. He has 3 turns until a mutiny, apparently. We have 1 turn until we have a rebellion on our own hands. And for some reason, I'm kind of fixated on the fact that I would like Duratius to receive attrition, but I know that I can destroy him in the field regardless. So what I need to do, I think, is lift the siege so that we can then deal with the rebellion instead of faffing about waiting for attrition like I was talking about literally like 30 seconds ago. I don't know. Sometimes I make the game hard for myself because I like to... I don't know, this is something I've noticed about myself. I'm not a power gamer or min-maxer in any way. I like to sort of RP things and play them in ways that make sense to me. I mean, if this was a historical situation, you would probably wait until the spring to counterattack. You would probably not besiege such a small city through the winter. But I'm kind of babbling right now. Let's move on. We have some illegitimate births. We actually have 2. It's Wulfgar. The mother is Astradir, which is my fucking wife. Oh god, you remember, now we don't know for a fact if it is this Astradir, but I cannot help but feel... Remember in episode 1, when I said Ragnarr, his second name would be Ragnarr the Cuck, because his wife is flirtatious? This is really twisted, you see, because Wulfgar, did he bone his own mother? I hope not. Good God. Fandral. Ooh. Result of an incestuous union, I would think. I have no idea who Asa is, but this is incredibly awkward. Wulfgar is playing it up. Like, look at this guy. He's a fucking player. You would think Ivar would be the one sleeping around, getting his dick wet relentlessly, but for some reason it's Wulfgar. Maybe chicks dig scars. I have no idea. Chance of having children, -10. Ivar, chance of having children, +10. What in the fucking world is going on? Wulfgar is fucking anything that moves, including his own mother, apparently, or potentially women with the name of his mother, which is, in my opinion, just as disgusting. I don't know what to say. I truly believe that Ragnarr is a cuck, and cucked by his own son, of all things. Good God. Okay, we're going to try to forget that ever happened. We're going to drink those thoughts away, and we are going to attempt to lift the siege of... We could get Wulfgar killed right now. You know that? See, if in the show of the Gutes, what would we call our show? If you guys have any ideas as to a good, badass title for the show we are going to be writing about the adventures of Ragnarr, in that show, there would be a subplot where Ragnarr suspects Wulfgar of boning his own mother, and then in the heat of battle, potentially trying to kill him, or like staging his killing. Man, ooh, we're getting some delicious drama here. I'm imagining all of these events happening, and the show is forming in my mind's eye. Good God, I can see the scenes play out before me. I can see Ragnarr on the field screaming, Wulfgar! Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the battlefield for the second Battle of Eblana. Well, here is our beautiful and not at all garbage-looking battlefield. I've stashed a few units on the right here in the woods in an attempt to maybe deal with their cavalry they have on the flanks. I've stuck all of my troops in a main battle line, basically. I've got all of my spears, 5 units in front, 1 either flank. I've got my axes and my general in the rear to reinforce where need be, and my archers out front, of course. They can probably head a little bit further out. Wulfgar has just entered the battlefield, the bastard he is. And, well, no, he's not a bastard, just all of his children are. We'll move him up to be the main battle line, or rather, reinforce the main battle line, along with his good father. So, I'm just gonna slow it down here. We'll move and creep the skirmishers forward. I want to creep the cavalry forward as well. If I could catch them out with the javelins, that would be ideal, although it seems to me that these enemies are actually moving quite a bit quicker than anticipated, so we'll move the archers back, and in fact, we're gonna get shredded by their archers. I wonder if we could just sneak them in right here to counter the cavalry. It's an ambush, apparently. Okay, let's actually run our skirmishers forward, and we will just continue creeping the cavalry up. I want my archers to counter those horse archers. Unfortunately, it was a bit dumb for me to put them out because it seems the enemy is just beelining right for me. Which is just fine. It's just a bit of they've found our skirmishers, which is just fine, as long as we keep them in the tree line. Sounds like we're receiving catapult fire. Duratius is in the rear. And now, unfortunately... Man, I really miss guard mode. They've just parked right outside our... out of our line. So they're going to destroy us with their... Well, they don't have superior missiles as such. Let's see, they have Celtic bows and a few Celtic brigands. Oh, shit me, I didn't realize, but one single unit of Celtic levy has decided to charge into my spears and thusly my archers as well. So let's just pull back a little bit. We'll get our King Ragnarr to move and flank those spears. They should be destroyed immediately. Now, I don't want my archers to, or rather my skirmishers to destroy their archers. I do, however, want my 37 cavalry to come and silence the catapults. Okay, so one unit of Nordic levy has been shredded by, I assume, archer fire as well as skirmishers. Those skirmishers are fucking deadly. I actually think Duratius has a better army in this regard. I just need to utilize my troops more. So we'll hit his Celtic bands in the rear with skirmishers, I think. Actually, we'll get Duratius as well. We'll get our troops to skirmish. We've got 37 cavalry en route. And then the remainder of my cavalry coming to flank. And, man, yeah, our entire army is being shredded by archer fire. Let's get our spear line back in order. Something like this. These guys can just chill in the back for now. Our archers are firing at... Let's take on this unit of brigands. I don't want my axemen throwing spears. Sorry, I'm just trying to take this really slow. I find myself struggling commentating over Attila just because of how quickly the combat goes. But at the very least, we can start throwing javelins now. As long as we can put a dent in Duratius, that would be great. Let's see what's going on. We have yet... Fuck me, my fucking archers. Get out of combat, you assholes. Yeah, these spearmen that attacked us have yet to break. There they go. Looks like their troops have entered a loose stance. That's just fine. These guys are my new line. Okay, let's rebuild. You guys are in the rear as a second line. My archers are taking casualties. What's going on here? Our skirmishers are retreating away from a unit of Celtic band. Okay. Let's get them over here. And we'll get this unit of cavalry to wipe them off the face of the planet. Alright. Let's get the skirmishers moving. They are, in fact, moving. What's going on? Are we receiving any missiles here? It seems not, but our archers are still moving. Okay. Form a new line for me, please. Oh, we did just charge the Celtic band, and they are breaking. They are broken. They're gone. Okay. We now have 2 units of cav free to hide in the trees again. Duratius still kicking. That's alright. Let's get the... just the skirmishers back in place to throw some jabs at him. There we go. And are we receiving fire? We are. Who is firing? Hard for me to say. Are we firing back? We are. It's really hard for me to see these missiles flying at this point. It looks like we've lost 500 men. They've lost a few hundred, so we're doing all right. All of our spears, though, they have 0 armor, it seems. Okay, so looks like their raiders are moving up to throw some spears. That's just fine. We'll move into a shield formation. We'll get Wolfgar to do the same next to his father, I think, on the left flank, however. Can I get those archers to fire at the horsemen? Let's try. Okay, our cav is still alive and kicking. That's just fine. That's great, actually. We have a bunch of spear units in a weakened state. We still have 3 in front, however. Our archers are just horrendous at taking out that cav. We need to deal with their archers, though, so let's get our cav involved. I'm pretty sure... Here's my worry. I try to get the cav involved, and their raiders are going to destroy me. So let's get the skirmishers to chase them off. We need this unit to deal with those Celtic band, hopefully. Yeah, those Celtic... The horsemen are just going to shred me, so I'm going to... Oh god, they're coming. They're coming in hot. Yeah, we're taking missiles already. I'm having a lot of trouble with this battle. Fuck me.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
Yep, we lost an archer unit. We are at 2,000 men. They are at 2,100. It's mostly these Celtic raiders. I don't know what to do with them. My missiles are not dealing with them properly. Celtic levy. I'm sorry, I'm sure this is pretty boring to watch. I think the solution is to move forward, absorb the missiles, and counter charge in the rear, hopefully breaking them with our cav. We'll have to be careful of the axemen. Just throw these guys in. Why the hell not? So I want to get rid of these Celtic band. Let's get hidden again. This unit of 33 men is going to charge the Celtic band. My brigands, I think, can probably counter-charge as well once they get... Yep, okay, this unit is gone. The cavalry raiders, let's scare them off with our own skirmishers. Okay, what do we got? We've got Celtic brigands, let's charge them. Let's thicken up this line. And the Celtic levy as well. Okay, let's get the axemen on the flank charging in. Okay, so their spears are now getting thrown into the rears of their own men. That's great. Oh, they have dogs as well. Fuck me, that's... Dogs are really powerful against my lightly armored troops, unfortunately. Okay, so I think this is actually turning out just fine, although my cavalry is beginning to take some hits here, so let's pull them out. We've got 2 units free here with javelins to charge the Celtic levy, charge Duratius if necessary. Although, our good King Ragnarr the Cuck is going to, I think, move out of shield wall and take on those levy. My Nordic levy are going to take on these bows. Okay, let's get these 2 units to come around the flank. I've now got Wolfgar ready to move. Okay, so we broke... Let's try to push the enemy cav away. Let's see the situation here. So they're throwing... Or they have thrown javelins. And now we have all 3 cav units in the trees. We've got all of our skirmishers ready to bait Duratius out. However, I would like to use these guys to charge in the rear. Let's just sacrifice these fucking guys. I know they have melee abilities of some kind. Something... It's not something to write home about, however, but it's certainly something. We can fire as many arrows as possible at the enemy cav as we chase them off. Wolfgar is going to come around on the flank. Okay, we won this. I was skeptical at first. Looks to me that the raiders are out of jabs. Let's intercept with our cav. They're going to try to take on my brigands, it seems. As long as we chase off the cavalry, we'll be fine. Let's get around the flank with Wolfgar. King Ragnarr still fighting. My axes are going to come intervene, would be the word. Alright, our archers are not firing. Let's stop the firing. Stop the firing. Counter-charge their cavalry. Unfortunately, Duratius is going to mess with my cav a bit, but once we wipe their units off the face of the planet, we can deal with Duratius himself. Okay, yeah, we just have to deal with the Celtic band in the center. And, okay, our cav is now getting bound up on Duratius. Let's get the Celtic band, what am I talking about? My Nordic brigands, of all things, to pin... Yeah, we've just taken a huge amount of casualties due to Duratius there. Get them to pin Duratius down as we build our cav line to charge him. Now, we're just trying to wipe up and clean up the battlefield. So we'll grab our spear units, all of them, and charge them in the center of the battlefield. I want my 2 generals to charge into the center of the battlefield. And then I want my cav, what I have left, to charge into the rear of Duratius. Okay, so this was quite a cautious battle. I was really not sure if I was going to win, but it seems the cav on the flank managed to do it. If I could get my own skirmisher cavalry, I would be incredibly happy, because I think I can personally use them to great effect. I believe this. Okay, we have units breaking and forming and reforming, so let's just charge. Reform a spear line of some kind. We have our axemen charging out, which is just fine. They can do. I think we lost one. We've just killed Duratius, and this is it for the Ebdanians. If anyone can recommend a slightly slower combat mod that is compatible with Terminus, I would be interested in seeing it, just because I think I need it to commentate. It's just too much for me to handle. I'm not ashamed to admit. Okay, we've won victory, and if at all possible, I would like to run down as many of these dudes as possible. Looks to me like they're going to flee off the face of the planet. However, which is going to prove to be difficult to run them down, essentially. But let's end the battle and take a look at our results and end the episode. We've lost a unit of axemen, unfortunately, as I predicted. However, we have conquered Eblana and thus defended it from the Ebdanian scourge, and now we've got a much younger looking Duratius in his portrait. I don't think the Ebdanians, well, apparently the Ebdanians are still kicking, regardless of the outcome of the battle. It looks to me like they've got a few units left, which are then going to suffer attrition in the winter. So when we come around next episode, I'm pretty sure we can ride out to destroy them. Although I feel as if the fact that we're going to have to deal with a rebellion at the same time, that might be a little bit shit, let's be honest. Okay, we have a level up for Ragnarr yet again, and I think it would be best if we were to perhaps upgrade his cavalry skills as well as his zeal. That's just fine. I would like Wulfgar to get a level up as well, so that we can get a little bit more tax revenue as well as increasing his authority. That way we won't be suffering any additional public order penalties. So we can increase our growth and our wealth from agriculture. So let's do that. All right. I'm pretty sure that this is it for this episode, unless, of course, we were to... Should we just assassinate Wulfgar? I think Ragnarr would like to assassinate his own son. Can we do this? Influence cost 25. We have 87. I mean, Wulfgar is a wonderful administrator, but I think we could probably do just well with Bardir, or perhaps Heraldir is a general, it seems. I think Wulfgar has to go. I really do. I think Ragnarr... I think Ragnarr is pissed that his son has cucked him. Man, what's going to happen to Efredir, Fandral, and Ozur? What's going to happen to these three orphaned children? Who knows? I don't care. We've just researched militarized society, which allows us to build a smithy. I think we ought to get labor service as well to unlock some more civilian buildings. All right, everyone, thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. I'm still watching that stuff to see if this becomes a series or not. Anyway, as always, my name is Incoherence, and I will see you all later.